So my staff asked me to tell the story why we don't have attorneys do initial meetings anymore. And I used to do them when I was a solo attorney. I mean, you have to do everything when you're the only person in the office. And we stopped doing them a couple years ago because it was just flat out bad. It was just a bad idea. What ends up I mean, lawyers are good at what we do, but lawyers are just not typically very good at making things clear or simple. And so what we found was that lawyers were just confusing the heck out of people during that first appointment because, you would take a lawyer who's in, working on a client's case, a client who's already hired, who has some problem that they're fixing, and you pull them out of that and put them into an appointment in the middle of the day with a potential new client. And so you've got this lawyer bouncing in and out of this sort of mindset they've got to change from helping a client to trying to get a new client. And so the lawyer was just uncomfortable having to do that. But then what happened is the lawyer would step into that appointment with a new client and would have to try to go through all these questions and gather a ton of information in like 20 or 30 minutes, and then like shoot from the hip, like here's a bunch of strategies, here's a bunch of ideas, like maybe you could try this, maybe you could try that. And I experienced this because that's what I did. And when you'd get to the end of the appointment, you'd be like, as the lawyer, do you want to hire me? And, some people said yes, some people said no. And it was just a really confusing appointment. And then what was really uncomfortable was sometimes someone would hire, and then we would start to collect all the information, all the documents, and actually get into the details. And I would come back and I'd have to say, after reviewing everything, I see I actually need to give you a totally different strategy. And that just felt really bad as the lawyer. So we just totally stopped doing that. And now we only do that in emergency situations where somebody's like in the hospital. The better thing for folks now is to meet with someone who's trained on our staff to help you figure out really, what is your family's needs? Tell us about your family, tell us about your story, tell us what's going on, but then spend some time to really figure out what are your goals? What do you want to see done here? And then explain, okay, here's how we would work as a firm. Here's what the options are. This helps us satisfy our bar obligation of also checking conflicts, which is a good thing. Lawyers have to do that. Law firms have to. And then by the time you sit down with a lawyer, so the very next thing you do is you meet with a lawyer, then you feel comfortable with our firm. You can gather the information that now is necessary. You don't have to do that before you decide to work with us. And then you're sitting down with a lawyer after you've got all the information. The lawyer has all the information. The lawyer has the right information. And the lawyer actually is not trying to get you to become a client. They're not trying to impress you with all their whatever. They're just sitting down. They're having a calm, professional, reasonable discussion with all the information in front of you guys. And you can help the lawyer really know what you want, and the lawyer can actually deliver and build out like a real strategy, a custom one that fits your family, that fits your needs, and is not just, shooting from the hip, trying to impress you with all their certificates on the wall. That's not what you want. And that's what I just found that's a frustrating experience. So we just don't do things like normal lawyers do them. And that's what our first appointment process is. It's built really for you. It's built to give you a really just no pressure, easy place, comfortable to just sit down and have that conversation. So we do those with trained people on our staff. They're client service coordinators, and they're specifically trained to do this. They don't have to, try to impress you with anything. They just want to learn about you, learn about your goals, and help you see if we're the right fit for you. That way you can make that decision. That's our process.